Welcome to Combat Sports Talk, a podcast dedicated to UFC and Bellator discussion, the MMA community, and combat sports in general. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and joining me tonight for UFC 253 is George G Money Stallworth. How are you tonight, sir?
Dude, I am so stoked. Have you seen the fights tonight?
Yes, I have. And oh my gosh, we're going to have to talk about all of these fights in the recap. We're getting ready to have the main event of the evening, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya versus the Eraser, Paulo Costa. This is a fight that we've been waiting for a lot. They have been talking back and forth on social media. They've been talking back and forth on the media. They've been talking back and forth in front of their faces. We had the throwing of the white belt in the face-off. What do you got? Who do you have in this fight?
Man, I've been on the Izzy train for I don't know how long. You remember, I think I first broke the news of Izzy to you guys back in the day, if I remember.
Yes.
It's been a long time coming, man. This is probably going to be one of the most epic fights of his career. And I'm excited to see how he deals with Paulo because, this guy, really has the potential to do damage to Izzy and or knock him out. But at the same time, he plays in the Izzy's game plan, man. Paulo just wants to brawl. He wants to go for it, throw heavy, hard punches. And Izzy's a counter fighter. So this is a matchup made in heaven for Izzy to some degree. He's just got to
not get hit.
Caught by that one. Yeah, not get caught by that one heavy punch.
Exactly. So for those of you who are joining us, let me just be clear, because when we do these live broadcasts, people are looking for an illegal stream. We're not streaming this illegally. This is, George and I were going to be talking about the fights. For those of you who did not buy the pay-per-view, we can tell you what's going on, and we'll be telling you. And you're in for a treat to watch a fight with George Stallworth. And the reason why is because he will start predicting what's going to happen before it happens. In the last fight between Jan Blachowicz and Dominic Reyes, he was like, "Oh, Dominic Reyes is getting ready to get knocked out." Boom, it happened. Like, it was instantaneous. That's the kind of commentary that this man right here is able to deliver. So we're going to be able to provide you what's going on in the ring. We'll be giving you some commentary if you're not watching. If you are watching, definitely type in the box. Let us know what you're thinking, because that is really what's going to make this a lot of fun for all of us watching this fight together, because we've been waiting for this for a very, very long time.
Very long.
So I got you. So we got right now, you got Lee Broski. He's like, just give it to me straight, bros. Hey, listen, we will do it. So we are getting ready for the walkouts to the ring right now. Paulo Costa's coming out. You got that nice green and blue colors. Got green and blue colors. It's always interesting to hear the songs coming from the Brazilians. Because, I'm expecting to get something violent, something, just get you hyped. And in Brazil, it's like these ballads, man.
We saw that earlier tonight, man. I was going to say we might have to match up our feeds because I think I'm a few seconds behind you.
All right. Okay, well, let's do that once we get a clock and a timer going. So we'll match up our feeds right at the start of the fight, so we can be synced. But Paulo Costa's walking out to the ring, looks very calm, already raising his hands as a champion.
Grabbing his junk.
Adjusting that cup. If they were fighting in the UFC Apex arena, they would probably need to make sure that they got that thing straight, man, because in the Apex arena, they've been keeping track of how many crotch shots, these fighters get.
Mm-hmm. So we were talking earlier off cam, and when you first saw Izzy, you said, "Hey, he's coming out wet," and Paulo's coming out wet too, man. Like, we saw him warming up in the back already, and he was sweaty already. So,
right,
didn't mean to rhyme on that,
yeah.
But I have this really big thing that I really want all fighters to do when they're about to fight. And that is to come out wet, come out warm enough where you're almost on your second wind, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It plays better in the fight, man, than coming out cold. You come out cold and it's easy to get caught with shots. It's easy to get knocked out quicker. Your body's just not in it the same as if you come out wet.
Right. Man, I will tell you, Paulo Costa is just ripped. Like this guy, it was interesting because it was John Anik who was saying like this guy could be modeling right now. He could be doing a lot of other things, but instead he's coming to get legs and fists and feet thrown at his face. You know, that's the moneymaker, man.
Dude, looking at him now compared to like just several weeks ago. Several weeks ago, folks were really wondering like, how is he going to make 185? But like looking at him now, yeah, don't get me wrong, he's ripped. He doesn't look as huge as he was looking several weeks ago. He looked total muscled out, almost steroid like several weeks ago, man. Like everybody was wondering how is he going to get that weight off because he was all muscle.
Yeah,
There's no fat on his body.
yeah. I mean, I look like that, but I have fat on my body, so it's all safe packaged for safety.
Mm. It's being protected, huh?
That's right. It's protected. All right, here we go. I'm always interested in how Israel Adesanya will choose to walk out. So, you know, is it going to be some choreography? Screen just went black. Here we go. We got the green and whites of his native land, Nigeria. All right. Paulo Costa's still kind of warming up in the ring, shadow boxing a little bit.
I'm seeing the Matrix lines drop down.
Oh, yeah. You got the Matrix. I think that's effective. I think that's fair. Fighting Israel Adesanya, you're fighting in the Matrix. All right. He's pretty calm. Walking out. He said that he was in the pre-fight interviews. He said he was feeling real dark about this. You know, he's wearing his Yakuza shirt. So he said he was feeling real dark. He said he didn't really want to showboat a whole lot coming out to the ring. There's no costume. There's nothing. He's just walking out super calm. So fighters still making their ways to the ring. So we will, we'll just fill the air. Walt Harris says he's shadow boxing in his living room. I mean, this is a fight to get hyped over, man. Like I was telling my wife, I'm like, hey, I know that you want me to do some things tonight, to get some chores done, but once 8 o'clock hits, I'm out.
Basically, the same thing happened with Leah tonight, man. She made dinner, treated me nice, but come 8 o'clock, a totally different person was in the room.
Man, I can't wait. Here we go. Oh, by the way, I got the timer ready because we always time the main events. The thing is, the reason why we time the main events is because there's something called the buffer factor. Buffer factor is a fight should last at least as long as it takes to announce the fight. So we always time it to see what the buffer factor is. For the main event of the evening, usually that lasts somewhere close to 3 minutes. So we will we'll see how long that is, and hopefully we will see longer than a 3-minute fight because this is going to be a good one. So Lee Broski, we don't do every UFC. We usually do the big pay-per-views, and we'll do the main event, and then we'll do a kind of a post-show wrap-up. We'll talk to fans and things like that if they're messaging us and things like that. So, all right, here we go. Let me get my clock in the way there.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Get the lamp out of the way. There you go.
I was going to say my feed is considerably behind yours.
Okay.
By about 15 seconds.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
So we will sync our times once the clock gets on the thing, and then we'll talk it through the fight. I do kind of wish Israel Adesanya would have kept the pink hair, though.
I'm glad he didn't. Yeah, Paulo Costa looks like a bull ready to run through the china shop.
Yeah.
That does not bode well for him, though. Meanwhile, Izzy over here showing off his stripper moves.
It's time! 5 pounds for the undisputed UFC.
So you got Israel Adesanya?
Oh, yes.
All right. I got Israel as well. Hey, Libroski or Libroski, who do you have?
Undefeated martial artist, holding a perfect professional record. 13 wins, no losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of the Caspian Direct Brazil, presenting the #2 ranked middleweight contender in the world, the challenger.
All right, we're all on the Israel Adesanya train.
Mm.
And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist, holding a perfect professional record, 19 wins, no losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 184 pounds, fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand.
I liked what Israel Adesanya said about, you know, he wants people to see that the skinny guy can beat the muscle guy.
Mm-hmm.
UFC middleweight champion of the world, Israel.
There you go. 2 minutes 48 seconds is the time to beat. All right, looks like all of us, all of us are on Israel Adesanya. So we have him for the fight. So I'm gonna go into about 450 and then I'll stop and then you'll tell me when you reach the 450 and then we'll sync our times. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Leah just called Borrachino Ricky Martin.
Okay. Tell me when you get to 450.
Okay. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 450.
All right, there we go. All right, so they're just kind of filling each other out right now. A lot of feints.
Nice.
Israel Adesanya gets that nice. What's that kick called?
Teep to the thigh. I call it the John Jones teep.
Yeah. Okay. Now Israel Adesanya is rolling towards Costa's right side, so keeps circling. Oh, now he's circling back the other way, throwing a leg kick here and there.
I love watching Izzy's footwork, man. Like, nice leg kick by Paula.
Yeah. Paula Costa throws a big leg kick, and that's like a tree branch hitting something. You know, it's like it's a big leg.
Mm. I bet the next one gets checked though.
All right, Israel Adesanya get another leg kick. There you go. Still throwing those jabs to get that range. So Israel Adesanya.
I want you to look at the footwork of Izzy and how he matches up against Paula. Yeah. Typically, MMA fighters, you see how Izzy's left foot is paralleling Paula's left foot.
Yeah.
But typically, it's just the opposite. The left foot should parallel the right foot. So I'm interested to see, because what that does, it takes away Paula's kick right there. Like that kick, even though it landed, the angle it lands in doesn't have the same effect as if Paula was matched up foot to foot.
Okay.
You'd have to step over.
All right. But Israel Adesanya is starting to tee off on that front leg. You know, we've seen a lot of that tonight. Got a bit of a nod from Paulo Costa there. Paula's already reacting to it, and he throws it again. Israel Adesanya's landed another leg kick. We're gonna see that pay dividends in round 4 and 5, if not earlier.
Nice. Caught the kick.
Caught the kick. Yeah, so Paulo Costa throws a kick. Israel Adesanya catches it, but nothing comes out of that. Quick kick from Israel Adesanya. Yeah.
So because Izzy's paralleling the foot like that, what you're going to
Yeah.
see is a lot of leg kicks coming from Izzy.
Yeah.
And again, the body kick from Paula is not going to be as effective now unless he matches up the feet, because he's just not in the same range.
Yeah. Paulo Costa's trying to get Israel Adesanya to fight. So he's taunting Israel Adesanya right now, put his hands behind his back, telling him to come on. Israel Adesanya, he goes for another head kick on Izzy, but Izzy blocks it. Izzy returns a jab. Costa is reacting to every feint that Izzy throws. Izzy throws another inside leg kick this time. Now they're both standing each other, taunting each other. A lot of games being played right now. Not a lot of action.
Nice leg kick again by Izzy.
Right as Paulo Costa was getting ready to come in too. Stopped his movement in. Yeah, Costa's legs starting to turn low, starting to turn red. Costa rushed in. Izzy rolled out. Reset. We got about 1 minute and 23 seconds left. All right, we got another one of those oblique kicks.
Speaking of the leg kicks, what I also noticed is it looks like Paula has gone and he got cupped on his calves. If you see those little red circles down there just below.
Cups, yeah.
So I would wonder whether or not, cupping is a recovery tool that a lot of fighters use, but those are specific areas of the body that he's cupped. You don't see as many cups on his back or anything like that. So I'm wondering if that is, to nurse some type of injury or something he's had going on.
Well, Paulo Costa,
nice body kick by Izzy.
Really trying to cut the ring off for Izzy. You see that he's really trying to get Izzy up against the cage. Izzy resets, brings it back to the center of the ring, and then resets. But here we go again. Costa's trying to get Izzy onto the cage. He's got him onto the cage now, trying to block him down. Izzy's having to fight off the cage. One body kick landed by Paulo Costa. Gets real dangerous whenever you're back against the cage.
Well, that is definitely the game plan Paula should be pushing into, is to push Izzy up against the cage, take away some of the weapons that he has, and basically use the strength that he probably has over Izzy to overpower him.
Right. It did not net him any gains in the first round. I'd have to give the first round to Israel Adesanya. He was just more active, landing more kicks, landing more strikes. There was a couple of body kicks that Paulo Costa landed, but in each case, it didn't do a whole lot of damage, and Izzy was catching a lot of those kicks. What do you think?
Absolutely. First round, definitely Izzy. Good movement, good footwork, good feints. I really didn't see a lot of output from Paulo Costa.
Yeah. So Lebrowski saying that Costa's tank is going to be tested. So I agree with you. It's a pretty high pace, that Izzy Adesanya can run. Right now, they're just filling each other out. I think round 2 is going to be a lot more active. And I think Israel Adesanya, I'm hoping that he will continue to keep focusing on that leg, keep wearing that leg out, and turn that thing into ground beef by the time this fight is over.
Yeah. Now, something interesting that I know that I really expected Paulo Costa to come out charging like a bull in the first round, and he didn't. He was a little bit more calm.
Yeah.
Let's see if that changes this round. Let's see what kind of adjustments both fighters make. One adjustment that Paulo definitely needs to be making is checking that kick or taking away that kick from Izzy.
Yeah. Izzy's starting to come in a little bit closer too. I mean, he's staying, I'd say, probably just inside his kicking range.
Nice.
So
Izzy is definitely filling out his range, finding where the proper range is for this.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Wearing out that look. Question mark kick from Izzy Adesanya.
Nice.
Big,
the hand checking that Izzy's doing right now, that's his probe in order to find the proper range and distance to throw the strikes he really wants to throw. Nice leg kick by Paulo.
Paulo Costa starting to return the leg kicks now, but you're kicking a guy who's a Muay Thai kickboxer.
Well, I can almost guarantee you that the next couple ones, he's going to check one, and then the rest of them he's either going to evade or find some other way. But general rule of thumb is check the first one. After that, make the adjustment and use that leg kick that he throws at you against him.
Mm-hmm.
Catch kicks, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Paulo Costa's been
nice
throwing
jab by
a big jab by Paulo Costa.
Nice
Return.
right cross from Izzy and the kick. Oh, please play like that, Paulo. You will get knocked out. Yeah,
all right.
Great game plan by Izzy right now. Take away the legs. Take away the legs. Just chop away at those legs. That will pay off dividends because this is a 5-round fight. You got to remember that too. So if it goes into deep water, what Izzy's doing now is definitely chumming the waters for later on.
But Paulo Costa is still dangerous, throwing the jabs out. He's been throwing these big looping kicks too, big looping head kicks, trying to hope to catch Izzy sleeping. Body kick by Israel Adesanya. Another body kick by Paulo, but Izzy caught it.
So one of the things you have, if you watch Izzy fight over time, man, you see these looks that he gives, or his eyes when he goes into what some people are calling the matrix, man, and it looks like he's there already. Like his intent, his focus, those things, you see it, the way he's throwing these feints, the way he's looking back at Paulo. There's not much real interaction between the two of them. Literally, Izzy is in his mind.
Oh, head kick. Israel Adesanya. I say, do you think that landed? I mean, it was very close. Paulo instantly started backing up. That's one I would call scores, even if it didn't land cleanly, because the reaction that you get from Paulo Costa. He retreated.
Who is bleeding right now? I see a lot of blood on Paul's chest.
Oh, Paulo Costa is cut now from a head kick by Israel Adesanya. Oblique kick to the leg. Starting Israel Adesanya starting to work his magic.
Boom. Paulo's leg looks like hamburger meat right now.
Yeah, and it's only round 2.
Ooh, nice fake.
Yeah. Paulo Costa is reacting to every single fake that Israel Adesanya throws. He returns with these big looping punches. Izzy easily evades them, starts throwing those leg kicks, just got a jab in the face.
Izzy.
Excellent. Good job.
Leg kick coming in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, Paulo Costa tried to go.
Body shot.
Yeah. This is one of those times where Paulo Costa's down. Paulo Costa looks like he is on his way out. Izzy is ground and pounding.
Stopped.
And the fight is called. The fight is called. It is over. Israel Adesanya has defeated Paulo Costa round 2 via knockout. There it is.
Wow.
Folks, it's over. Just like that.
That was what some would consider the most uneventful main event. Izzy called it though. Izzy said, "This is easy work for me."
Wow! Boom. Anthem Tai Chi, we got you. Boom! That's all it took. What are you gonna do? Who do you bring against Izzy Adesanya now? That's the thing. That's the question.
Izzy already told you the dark horse of the division, Jared Cannonier.
Jared Cannonier is gonna be scary. He's gonna face Robert Whittaker. We're gonna learn a lot about. Look at him. He's doing windmills now, breakdancing. Drew Rodriguez, I got you, man. Champ.
Ricky Martin
is getting stitched up right now because he wasn't ready for it. I can't wait to see the replay because I just saw him go down. I didn't see the strike.
Yeah.
It was something that was inside.
So patient too. When he drops you, it's not like he just immediately jumps on you like that. He pauses for a second, like it almost gives enough time and effect for whatever he did to really kick into you.
Yeah. So they just showed the head kick. They're going back through a jab to Paulo Costa.
Boom.
Boom.
Behind the ear.
Oh, that's what it was. So he slipped a punch, came back with the left hook right over the ear of Paulo Costa, and that's it. I think Izzy did a little bit of that Brandon Royal in the end. You know, the Brandon Royal nickname.
Is he saying he didn't make weight?
Wow. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, check us out on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. We are Combat Sports Talk. We do this every Monday, and we'll be talking about this on this coming Monday. But you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on our Combat Sports Talk website or any of your favorite podcasting platforms, Combat Sports Talk. Like, subscribe, follow us, tell your friends. You got the Salt Bay at the end.
I don't even think Izzy took a strike to the face, did he?
I don't think he took very many strikes at, during this fight. Have a great day, Lebrowski. And still. I can't wait to hear what he has to say in the ring, though.
Mm-hmm. Dana White's got to love this kid, man.
He he does. He does. He's so entertaining.
He almost
knocked out John Edick. Cameron. Nigel no de carry last. All right, we're just listening to Israel Adesanya's post-fight comment, so we'll be back in just a moment. He's just saying, nobody believed me that Romero fight, they said was boring.
He's talking about a fight from earlier, I take it.
So Israel Adesanya is upset about fighters not making weight. He says 30% pay on their purse isn't enough. It needs to be 90% so people will stop just taking it. Yeah, Dylan, we'll tell you what they're saying. We're not allowed by the UFC to put the feed on and to do that. So. Tukagov. Tukagov didn't make weight. He missed weight by 5 pounds. So Israel Adesanya is saying, number one, he's pissed off about people not making weight. Zabira Tukagov missed weight by 5 pounds, which was unacceptable. Then the next one, he's saying that Jared Cannonier is next. Jared Cannonier has the fight in Abu Dhabi against Robert Whittaker. So he said if Jared Cannonier beats Robert Whittaker, then Jared Cannonier gets the next title shot. And I think that's fair. I mean, if you can get through Robert Whittaker, then you have met the requirements of what a champion should be. And then he shouted out kickboxing, City Kickboxing. And I was tweeting this earlier, MMA Podcaster, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, is the fact that City Kickboxing is legit one of the elite schools or fight camps in the world. When you start looking at clubs like TriStar, American Kickboxing Academy, Jackson Winklejohn, City Kickboxing is in that conversation. You got Volkanovski, you got Dan Hooker, you got Israel Adesanya. You got all these great fighters coming out of that one gym. I think you got to put them in the same category as some of these traditional great fight camps that are out there.
You saw several of their other lower level fighters on this card tonight as well, and most of them did very well. So,
except for one. So we would be remiss if we did not shout out Factory X on behalf of Kelechi Onyebuchi. For Cameron, we got our very own son of Nigeria on our show, Kelechi Onyebuchi, and he is in the Denver area. He is trained at Factory X, and so he actually knows Brandon Royval and was telling us, you need to watch out for this guy. He's going to be great. He's going to be great. And he put on a great show. So let's go through the fight. The card is over. So let's go through some of the big fights of the main card. First fight of the night was Hakeem Dawodu versus Zubaira Tukhugov. Tukhugov came in at 150 for a 145-pound fight. This was a fight that I thought, I always have the rule, rule number one, never bet against the Russians. Yeah. So for you, Scott, there you go. It's in the name. There you go. We talk about combat sports. Oh, well, okay. So Hakeem Dawodu defeated Zubaira Tukhugov. I thought Tukhugov was gonna keep that Dagestani tradition going of winning fights, but Hakeem Dawodu started off a little bit slow, but came out strong in rounds 2 and 3. So I was like, wow. By the time round 3 was over, I don't know what was wrong with Tukhugov. Maybe the weight cut hurt, and so he had gassed out by the time the 3rd round came, or whatever. But Dawadu's chasing him around and like yelling at him, cursing at him. Let's fight. Let's fight. Yeah. So that was a clean win for him. Next fight of the night was Ketlin Vieira versus Sijara Eubanks. I think you were a little disappointed in that outcome, were you not?
Yeah, I really believe Sijara was going to upset Ketlin. Didn't quite happen, but we did see those sparks of brilliance from Sarge. You mentioned earlier you think she should go back to the smaller weight class, but I think she definitely still is a contender at that weight class. Yeah,
she definitely is a contender at 135, but those fighters just get bigger. I mean, think about it. In 135, you got people like Holly Holm. You got people like you got people like Amanda Nunes. Those are big fighters. Sijara Eubanks was the ultimate fighter of 125 pounds. If she goes back to 125, I think that she could actually make herself a run at Valentina Shevchenko. She definitely showed she's got the striking prowess. She's got the grappling. That she does. I just don't think she's got the size. I mean, Vieira was hulking over her. I mean, you got someone like Sijara Eubanks. She is 5'4". That's tiny. That's tiny for bantamweight. So I think she should go back to 125, make a run at that. But maybe it's just too hard for her to make weight because she did start her MMA career later in life. And, as you get older, as I know for a fact, it's harder to lose weight when you get older. So you don't like that one too much. Hey, in the next fight of the night, we had Kara France.
I can't stand you.
Versus Brandon Royval. And Brandon Royval, this was like his 2nd fight in the UFC, but he is a former LFA champion, fights out of Factory X, and he put on a show. I mean, this fight started super fast. It was lights out. Fight of the night contention.
Dude, did you see the double knockout at the beginning of that fight?
Yes. So that was the thing that made it so interesting, was the fact that, Brandon Royval came right into a right hand. He stumbles, stands back up as Kara France is coming in. He throws another punch, and then Brandon Royval throws a spinning back elbow. They both connect, and then they both stumble. That's the kind of fight you want to see, man.
To a fight. Yeah.
That's a wild start to the fight. But what I was talking about is Bruce Buffer introduced Brandon Royval as a brawler. Dude has mad Brazilian jiu-jitsu grappling game. I mean, this guy had omoplatas working. he was trying to get, he was trying to get the guillotine, which he eventually got. And it was like, yes, he can brawl, but the guy has legit grappling
So
game
much
as
more
well.
than just that. Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
a good fight.
So
That was a great fight.
it sure was. And that's the thing that I was talking about before, is that when we get on the show on Monday, we're gonna have to blow that hype train horn for Brandon Royval, because he put on a show. I can't wait to see him next. I'm calling out DJ for him, Demetrius Johnson. That's right. I want to see this guy. If he's got to fly all the way, sign a 1-fight contract with ONE FC, I want to see what he can do against the man.
Where's DJ at when you need him, huh?
Where is DJ at when you need him? In the co-main event of the evening, Jan Blachowicz defeated Dominic Reyes via knockout in round 2. Here's the thing. Jan Blachowicz said, I'm going to knock him out in the second round. What?
I didn't know that.
Yes. Blachowicz called it. He said this will only go 2 rounds. It only went 2 rounds, and Dominic Reyes is going to go home with literally a side of ground beef from all those leg kicks that he took in the side, a broken nose, and a derailed dream of being the champion someday. So shout out to the Polish, what is it? The Polish I forgot it was his nickname, Polish Power or something like that. Jan Blachowicz, brings another championship to the great nation of Poland.
Man, I'm really interested to see what he's going to do as the champ over that division right now, man. And also how this is going to play out with John Jones eventually, man. I see John Jones going back to light heavyweight.
Okay, so here's the question. Do you think John Jones goes back to light heavyweight because he's not successful at heavyweight? Or he fights one at heavyweight, sees the light heavyweight division starting to get some momentum, and decides to come back down and show that he remains the force of nature that he's been in the light heavyweight division?
I think him stepping down from the belt was all negotiation. Period.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'll probably go and fight in the heavyweight. I mean, there's two big money fights for him up there, but we all know who owns the light heavyweight division, and that's going to be the talk. It's going to, everybody's going to be like, Jan, are you really the light heavyweight champ?
Well, I after seeing him fight tonight, like, I wasn't a believer, right? I didn't believe that he was going to be able to. Shout out from New Zealand. What's up, man? Your boys showed well at UFC 253. So we are very impressed by the talent from City Kickboxing in New Zealand. Jan Blachowicz I wasn't a believer even after he kept winning. I mean, he knocked out Corey Anderson, he knocked out Luke Rockhold, and I'm like, well, he's good, but could he stand with someone like Dominic Reyes? I think we have a recording of me saying that. And he showed tonight that this guy is confident, he's well coached, he's super strong,
composed, he's patient. Yes.
He could be a problem. I think he could make a good run. I'd love to see him against John Jones someday, but we'll see. Shout out to Kareem in Lebanon. What's up? Glad you could join us tonight. We're just talking about the outcomes of the fights. We're here on the main event of the evening. If you guys don't know, now you know. Israel Adesanya defeated Paulo Costa in the second round. It was a pretty dominant performance all the way around. Israel Adesanya was never in danger. There were a couple of times where Paulo Costa got him cornered on the ring, but Israel Adesanya was able to flurry, spin out, reset, and get back into the into the fight. Well, we got a lot of people for coming in, joining us from New Zealand. All right.
Really? All right.
So we're definitely shouting out City Kickboxing. Impressed. I believe that City Kickboxing should be listed among the elite fight camps in the world, alongside TriStar and American Kickboxing Academy and Jackson Winklejohn. Those guys.
Tell me something.
Okay.
I hadn't had a chance to go back and watch it yet, but the ground and pound he finished him with, man. Did you think anything of the stoppage itself? Like, was Paula out, or?
I think it was a good stoppage. Paula covered up. Israel almost threw a couple of illegal strikes. I would say that he when he got on, because he doesn't really finish fights with ground and pound. It's usually kind of a flash knockout, and he goes down. Shout out to Clearwater, Florida. William Redding, what's up, my man? Israel, this is what I wish Israel would have done. I know you get excited, you knock this guy down, he's getting ready to get finished, but Paulo Costa's giving you his back. He's out. What should you do, Israel? You pull the rear naked choke. Dude threw a white belt at you at the weigh-in. How awesome would it have been for him to choke him out a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who threw a white belt at you and said, you got a little blue belt, you're nothing to me. You should have choked him out. Legendary status. I mean, dude's legendary status, but I'm just talking about mythic status at that point.
It would have been interesting to see.
Oh man, yes.
Just to have that on your resume.
Yeah, one
submission.
One
out
submission.
Of 19, one submission.
One submission. Yeah. So yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah. So Matt S was like, "Hey, did you catch that little rape move that Izzy put on at the end? We saw it in the replay, actually.
Raw dog.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He did a little bit of that Brendan Royval raw dog at the end. Israel Adesanya, he is a star in the UFC. When we talk about, Conor McGregor has been the example of what a star could be in the UFC, because Conor McGregor was talented on, in the octagon, but he's great on the mic as well. I think Israel Adesanya has all of that. He's great in the octagon, great on the mic, but he's also great on social media. And he engages with the fans. He engages with other fighters. That's what
he's consistently doing interviews all over the place.
Yeah, and the great thing is that he's insightful as a champion as well. We on the show talked a lot about how Israel Adesanya, when he was going to fight Robert Whittaker, how he went and got a therapist to start preparing him for life as a champion. That's the thing that I think would have been really interesting for Israel Adesanya. That's different from all these other champions and all these other fighters, is that Israel Adesanya foresees the challenges that he's going to have, and he starts to get help, and he's not afraid to turn to therapists and counselors to do that. Got a message from Han Myoset. He says that trying to sub would be dangerous for Izzy. It would have. I'm more joking than being serious, but it would have been great. It would have been a fitting conclusion to this whole saga between him and Paulo Costa, right? At the end, the disrespect of Israel Adesanya's blue belt in jiu-jitsu, the disrespect in the throwing him the white belt and wearing his black belt, that would have been a fitting conclusion to that with the submission. But once you get a guy like Paulo Costa stunned, you finish the fight however you can finish it. Yeah, get out of there. But
I'm going back now and watching some of the replay on that. Yeah, there was several strikes that easily could have been labeled illegal to the back of the head.
Yeah. But that happens a lot in the UFC, and so we've got to just make sure that the ref is there and doing it. Colm Driscoll says Israel's trash talk got into Costa's head, and that Costa started to act childish and got clipped. You have to stay in the game when you're in the octagon. I think that's a fair comment, right? And that is something that we saw with Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. Once you start kind of playing around and doing all that other stuff and trying to create distraction, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's what happened tonight. But I don't think that if he would have stayed serious, I don't know that we would have gotten a different result. It might have just taken longer. We got Costa does look like Ricky Martin though, from Matt S. I think so. I think it's great. Look at Angie Overkill Hill sitting at the desk tonight.
I did hear she was going to be on the show. Let me tell you what your girl Leah said about Dawadu.
Okay.
She says Dawadu reminds her or looks like Angie Overkill Hill. I said, Ryan is going to smack the living life out of you when he sees you.
Okay.
Yeah, look, that look on your face right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do not agree that that Angela Hill and Hakeem Dawodu look alike. They got one thing in common.
I started to tell her it would be fitting if Ryan told you that you look like Tugahoff.
Yeah,
You both
no,
have
but
black hair.
yeah. Well, her beard is a bit thicker than Tugagov's, so I can see the difference.
She's not laughing now. She's over here asleep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the thing is, for me, I like Angie Overkill Hill. For those of you who are new to the show, by the way, follow us on social media. Follow us on your favorite podcast. We do this every Monday night. Our shows publish on Tuesdays. You can find us on YouTube, and we love this sport, and we talk about it every single week. So please follow us, like, and subscribe. Tell your friends about Combat Sports Talk. We also have these shirts if you want to buy some merch. It's on our website, www.combatsportstalk.com. Everybody knows that I hated on Angie Overkill for the longest. Like, so much hate to Angie Overkill Hill because she lost a lot of fights in the beginning of her career. I didn't realize how young she was in her career when she got into the UFC. She's learned a lot along the way.
And she's fought a lot.
She's fought a lot.
It took a crazy year like 2020 for you to get on her hype train.
It did, but I'm here now. I'm the conductor. All aboard. I like Angie Hill. I like the fact that she fights a lot. She fell short against Watterson, but the thing is that as long as she keeps fighting, she's going to get better, and I think she'll be able to make a run. So Han Myoset is asking, why was Izzy mad at the end? It has to do with fighters missing weight. The thing that has happened is that when you miss weight, and we were tracking this in 2018 and 2019, fighters who missed weight won about 80% of the time. And so the cost of missing weight is only like 10 to 30% of your purse. But if you get your win bonus, that almost that makes a big difference, right? So he was upset because he was saying that fighters need to have more at stake to make weight, because if they miss weight, they got 90 minutes to make the weight. And a lot of times they'll just say, take 30% of my purse, and they start rehydrating. He's like, if you say, I'm going to take 90% of your purse, then these fighters are going to be much more serious about making weight. And, for someone like him who takes his craft very seriously, and the fact is, I don't think he has to cut a whole lot of weight to make 185. We want to see fighters do it the healthy way and fight in a weight class that is closer to your normal weight, as opposed to seeing these fighters. Remember Anthony Rumble Johnson, who was fighting at 170 and then ballooned all the way up to heavyweight, and now is, he's fighting at heavyweight again, but he was a light heavyweight fighting at 170. I mean, Charlie Brenneman probably will never be right after getting knocked out the way he did.
Well, Izzy, for example, Izzy weighed in, I think, the other day at 183, and that was with a rather large and heavy-set mask on, so he probably was lighter than that.
Yeah. I mean, I think his official weight was 184 for this fight. Like, that's under heavyweight. That's under middleweight championship weight. That's crazy. Kelechi Onyebuchi is watching us tonight. He is part of the Combat Sports Talk team. He says Adesanya. There was some people on the show who were logged in from Nigeria, so I had to say the one phrase I know, and that's Naija no de carry last. Look at that, boom. That's all I know. I can't do the other one. Kelechi taught me another one, but I can't do it. He laughs at me every time. So that's the show, guys. I mean, this is what we do every Monday night. Join us. Keep talking to us. We'll stay here as long as you guys are talking to us. This is what's fun. We enjoy interacting with the fans. We're looking forward now. We've got so Anthem Tai Chi is like, well, what does Naija know they carry last? So Naija is, and we should have Kelechi doing this. So Kelechi, if you are available, why don't you hop on and explain this, because I'm probably going to butcher this. But the phrase means that Nigerians come in first. They're winners. Who won? Reyes? Israel Adesanya won. But hopefully you knew that. It was by knockout in the second round.
Put on a clinic. He really did.
It was a show. He put on a show. That's right. Scott J says Niger is Nigeria. Right. So Niger, no they carry last. They don't come in last. We're coming first is basically what they're saying is we the Nigerians, we come in first. We're winners. We're champions. And so you'll hear them say that whenever, someone like Israel Adesanya wins. And we'll probably hear him say that in the post-fight press conference, which for those of you who are watching, if you don't watch the post-fight press conference and carve out an hour of your time to listen to that, that is some of the most insightful media that you can get. It's rich with what they're thinking about. I'm always like, I may end up staying up tonight and watch the post-fight press conference tonight, but I usually watch it on Sunday mornings, drinking my coffee, hearing the fighters talk about the fights themselves. So make that part of what you do is when you watch the fights on Saturday night, go back and watch the post-fight press conference. Those are the things where you're going to get the real news of what the fighters thought about the fights in the fight, during the fight. So let's see. So the next fight on the card, on the agenda, is going to be UFC on ESPN, Holm versus Aldana. So I'm excited to have Holly Holm back in the octagon. It's a surprise she's not fighting for a title because it seems like she gets so many title shots, so many opportunities. Her and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, perennially championship contender.
She's fighting, I think her name's Irene
Aldana. Yeah, Irene Aldana.
Dude, I think that's going to be a pretty good matchup. From what I hear, Irene has very, very skilled hands with boxing.
Yes, she is a boxer, and she has worn some ladies out just with her hands. I think she's got a little bit of jiu-jitsu as well, so she can finish you on the ground. We know Holly Holm, outstanding and well-decorated kickboxer and boxer, but we know Holly Holm, once you get her on the ground, she's not as elite as she is on the feet. She's not. I mean, we go back to she lost to Miesha Tate.
I'm not talking bad about Holly. I might run into her one day.
No, I'm not talking bad about her. I'm just saying she wants to keep the fight on the feet, right?
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying you called one of the most elite fighters on the planet. You said her BJJ is not that elite.
When you think of Holly Holm, we don't think about her grappling, right? We think about her hands.
I don't know how you're going to fix this, but you better fix it.
Okay. All right. Hey, Holly Holm, I'm sorry. I have, I've been tainted by your loss to Miesha Tate. That's what it is.
Oh, you're just going to add salt to the wound, huh?
You know what fight I'm really excited about?
Who's that?
On this card, the fight that the main event is great. I mean, I love watching Holly Holm fight. I love the fact that she is always moving. She's on her bike. You're going to have to, a lot of times ladies get caught because they chase her. And when they chase her, that opens it up for her to light you up. But the fight I'm excited about is Germaine de Randamie. Her versus Juliana Pena. Because
wow, I didn't know that was on there.
Juliana Pena was a fighter. She came up through the Ultimate Fighter, but what happened was right after she won the Ultimate Fighter, she fought like maybe once or twice, and then in training, some jerk of a guy got too rough with her in training and blew out her knee, MCL, ACL, and LCL, all. Wow. And she lost all of that in her knee. Had to get recovered. It didn't. I don't think it went well, and so it just started this long history of just rehab and surgery for Juliana Pena. But now she is back, and so I think she's had a child since then, and now she's making her way back into this thing where I thought she was set to be a champion. Like, this is back in the Ultimate Fighter when Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate were coaches. Go back and watch that season, and you'll see Juliana Pena, and she was a great fighter, destined to be a contender for a championship. She's back, but she's facing Germaine de Randamie. And frankly, guys, if there is someone who could beat Amanda Nunes, I think Germaine de Randamie, if she could fix her grappling and her jiu-jitsu, you got somebody who could give problems on the feet to Amanda Nunes. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen there between Germaine de Randamie and Juliana Pena. A lot of other great fights on the card. You got Jorgen De Castro versus Carlos Felipe. You got Roman Kopylov versus Tom Breeze, and Daquan Townsend versus Dusko Todorovic.
I love the way you pronounce names that anyone else would have the most difficult time doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, the processing power is going like, I'm like, okay, is that do I emphasize the first syllable or the second syllable? You know, a lot of these fighters we don't know, we've not seen, and so it's going to be interesting to watch these fights to start getting a sense of what the up and coming fighters are going to be here in the UFC world. So that fight is on October 3rd. It's Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana is the headliner, and really excited about that one.
Dude, I can't help. I'm going back watching some of the recap from the fight,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at the middleweight rankings, man, and just you got a killer's row of fighters through there. Robert Whitaker, Paulo Costa, Jared Cannonier, Jack Hermanson, Yoel Romero, Darren Till, Derek Brunson, Kevin Gastelum, Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall. That's your top 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Izzy's up there at the top of the list, undefeated, 15 knockouts.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So middleweight, I would say middleweight is probably the most top heavy. What do you think? Middleweight or lightweight? Lightweight is also very top heavy right now, because you've got Khabib Nurmagomedov, you got Justin Gaethje, you got Dustin Poirier, you got Tony Ferguson, you got all of these guys stacked up at the top 10 of lightweight as well. The UFC has done a great job at finding talent and stacking these divisions. I think that even when you go to light heavyweight, now you've got Jan Blachowicz, you've got Dominic Reyes, but you've got Thiago Santos, you got Corey Anderson, you got you got a lot of great fighters there as well. So they are starting to build these towers of talent. Look at that. You coined a phrase. Towers of talent in these weight classes, and I think UFC is poised to continue to dominate the MMA world. Now they got Michael Chandler as well in at the lightweight division. What do you think the odds are that something happens and Michael Chandler has to fight in the main event of UFC 254?
If something happens, it'll be to Khabib. It won't be to Justin.
Man, I hope nothing happens. Khabib was here tonight. He was cornering Tukagov, right? So
yeah, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but Khabib has been known to pull out of fights.
Mm-hmm.
So if something happens, I think it will be to him, and we'd see Justin versus Michael Chandler, which is a good fight.
Oh yeah,
that would be a good fight.
Here's the thing:
you got two former champions from other organizations headlining a UFC pay-per-view event. If this were to happen, so
that would be very interesting. The thing that really that really surprised me about the preview for UFC 254 is Justin Gaethje is 100% finishes. No fight with him has ever gone to decision.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I
didn't know that. Like, I want to go back and look at that and see. It said 100% finish rate.
Justin Gaethje is 100% going to have CTE when he retires.
Well, that fight with Eddie Alvarez, definitely. Woo. But speaking of CTE, in the prelims, what about...
You so wrong for that. Nightmare.
Yes, like Diego Sanchez, man. Come on, dude. Like,
oh man, look, I'm even more shocked that Conor McGregor was even entertaining with him on social media a fight.
Yeah. Conor, I think Conor wasn't serious. He can't be serious wanting to fight Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez, he's in the twilight of his career. I think you saw it tonight. That Jake Matthews was just all over him from jump, and it was just a beatdown. By the end of the fight, it didn't even look like Diego Sanchez wanted to come out of the corner. Round 3, he's just standing.
That Diego at least had an actual fighter or a coach with some experience backing him in Stephen Bonner. Not that I think Stephen was the best coach selection or anything like that, but at least you got someone in there who has an idea of what they're doing.
Right. Well,
When
the scary thing is I think that between Josh Fabia and Stephen Bonner, I think that they're all in that whole thing together. Like Stephen Bonner, I think he also is a pupil of Josh Fabia. I don't know. They didn't say that, but the relationship between the two seems like it's collaborative at worst.
What I understand, Stephen decided to go out and kind of be a friend to Diego and to look out for and check on him. And so they even went on some type of mystic trip or something to go look for UFOs or something together. I think we talked about this on the show last week.
We talked about it on the show. Yeah. So, I don't know what that's all about.
I'm giving Stephen the benefit of the doubt that he's there for legitimate purposes and to kind of look after Diego. And who knows, man, but CTE is real, and I hope Diego retires.
Yeah, I tweeted that out tonight, that I really do think that it's time for Dana White to have that conversation with him. You know, the thing is Dana White was saying that it's time for him to have that conversation with Donald Cowboy Cerrone. And it's like, yes, I do think that it is time for Cowboy Cerrone to start making making that exit. But I think Diego Sanchez needs to be a higher priority. You can't keep this guy in these fights with these up and coming fighters who are much younger, who are increasingly more talented. Like if ever there's someone who needs to leave the sport, be told to leave the sport, it's Diego Sanchez.
What's even worse is he's not even looking like he belongs in a lot of these fights. Like,
well, he's fighting at welterweight, and Chris Martis asked, he says, is the weight class wrong? He said that Sanchez's body looked weird. It wasn't tight, but I think part of that is just he's getting old.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing you see there with John Jones. John Jones used to look slick almost at light heavyweight. Now he looks a little, what would you say? I wouldn't say pudgy, but you can just see there's a little Dunlap going on in there, if you're familiar with that at all.
Yeah. Oh, am I familiar with it?
I didn't mean you personally. I mean, if you're familiar with the term.
I am familiar with the term, and I am familiar with the body image problems that it represents. Diego Sanchez is 38 years old. He holds the record. This dude holds the record for the number of strikes to the head in the history of the UFC.
Mm.
So when we start talking about it's time to go, it is time for this man to go. So, all right. Well, you know, I think that I think it's time to call it.
Okay.
You know, for those of you who are still watching, follow us on social media. We got our social media plugs up there. So if you listen to podcasts on any one of these venues, definitely follow us, like, and subscribe. Communicate with us. We love to hear what you think about what's going on in the UFC and the MMA world. For George G Money Stallworth, my name is Ryan Smith. We are Combat Sports Talk. We do this every Monday night. We publish our new episodes on Tuesdays. Join us and let us know what you think. I'm always reminding you to keep your hands up, your chin tucked, and throw bombs. We'll catch you guys next time.